talks, if we have a return to devolution, if there is agreement to reform this petition of concern veto mechanism, or indeed if Westminster will get behind gay people in Northern Ireland if direct rule returns to London and away from the Stormont Assembly. But I hope it's a case of months before we see progress rather than years and years more having to wait.
OK, Patrick Corrigan from Amnesty International UK. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're watching Sky News. Time now to cross over to the Sky Sports.
You're watching Sky News. Time now to cross over to the Sky Sports studio for all the latest from them.
This sports bulletin is brought to you by Vitality. Get healthy. Get rewarded.
This is Sky Sports News HQ and these are your top stories. The British and Irish Lions have beaten New Zealand in a dramatic second test. They came from behind to win 24-21 in Wellington. New Zealand centre Sonny Bill Williams was sent off for a shoulder charge in the first half, but with the Lions trailing 18-9, Talupe Faletau and Conor Murray went over in the second half. Owen Farrell then kicked a penalty with 3 minutes left to give them a famous victory. It's the first time New Zealand have lost on home soil since 2009, and it means this series will now be decided at Eden Park in Auckland next weekend.
There's only half the job done, so I'll be happy next week when we bring the Test series home. One apiece now, so effectively, we've only played two halves.
Come on, Sam, you've just beaten New Zealand. Take that smile on your face. You have just beaten New Zealand in Wellington, Sam. It's grandchildren tell time moment, yeah?
We've got to win the Test series. We've got to win the Test series. I mean, yeah, it's great that we got it to 1-1. We wanted to take it to, obviously, to Eden Park, but still plenty to work on. We had give away way too many penalties in the second half. Obviously delighted that we grinded out a win, but we've got to remember it was against 14 men. We've got to rep it again next week and bring that Test series home.
Jared, commiserations. Did you lose because the Lions were the better team tonight, or did you lose because Sonny Bill Williams got sent off?
No, the Lions are probably the better side. Very hard to hear. What an atmosphere. It's pretty great, but we had our chances, and the fact that we got in front, we couldn't keep that lead, probably shows that we just let ourselves off the hook, and they took their chances really well.
To cricket, and there's a recall for England batsman Gary Ballance in their 12-man Test squad for the series against South Africa. Ballance last played against Bangladesh in October, but has been in form, averaging over 100 in county cricket this season. Middlesex bowler Toby Rowland-Jones also gets his first Test call-up. Arsenal are close to completing a record deal of over £50 million for Lyon striker Alexandre Lacazette. The 26-year-old French international scored an impressive 28 goals in Ligue 1 last season, and although Arsenal had a bid rejected earlier in the week, sources have told us they are close to finalising the transfer. Our colleagues in Italy are reporting Chelsea have agreed a £33.3 million deal to sign Antonio Rudiger from Roma. Rudiger is a German international and can play at centre-back or at right-back. A record deal. The 26-year-old French
Vitality. Get healthy. Get rewarded.
Let's check on the weather for you now.
As showers wash over the UK, Australia soaks up some fun in the sun.
Fine weekend for many of us with some pleasant sunny spells, but there will be some rain at times in the west. For the rest of this afternoon, most places will have some sunshine, temperatures around average for this time of year. Cloud and patchy rain in western Scotland and Ireland as well will clear southeastwards, moving into northwest England and North Wales later. The rain will continue to spread southwards overnight, reaching southern England by dawn tomorrow.
Australia soaks up some fun in the sun. The weather. Sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Sunny spells, but there will be some rain at times. Coming up next here on Sky News, it's Swipe, and we'll look back at 10 years of the iPhone. and Ireland as well will clear south-eastwards, moving into northwest England. Next year on Sky News, it's Swipe and 10 years on the iPhone. Welcome back to Sky News. Let's remind you of the top stories this afternoon. A victim of the Grenfell Tower fire claims that she is still having rent taken for her destroyed flat, as Jeremy Corbyn calls for an urgent nationwide housing inquiry. Mr Corbyn will speak later at a rally against the government's austerity measures in central London. And tens of thousands of people are marching against China's control over Hong Kong on the 20th anniversary of the handover from the UK. Now, it's 10 years since the smoking ban in public places came into force in England, and campaigners say it's had one of the biggest impacts on public health in the past decade. Fewer people are now taking up the habit than at any time since records began, and the biggest fall is among 16 to 24-year-olds, as Phil Edwards reports.
The outdoor smoker, a common sight in Britain for the past 10 years or so, ever since the ban came into force. Having to stand outside in all weathers in order to light up has helped hundreds of thousands to quit, and those in favour of the legislation are delighted.
It's been a decade of success. We had over 10 million smokers 10 years ago, and now it's around 2 million less. But that doesn't stop it being a public health epidemic. It's the leading cause of preventable premature death, and it kills more people than obesity, alcohol, illegal drugs, all put together.
So just how have the numbers of smokers fallen over the past decade? In 2007, in Great Britain, there were 10.2 million regular smokers. Today, that number is 8.3 million, 1.9 million fewer. In 2007, 20.9% of the population were regular smokers. Ever since then, the trend has been steadily downwards, so that today the proportion is just 16.1%. Significantly, the proportion of 16 to 24-year-olds has gone down from 26.1% of smokers to 16.6%, a record low.
But not everyone is happy with all aspects of this ban. Some say it's changed the landscape of the country, and not always for the better.
There were 11,000 more pubs in England alone 10 years ago, when indoor smoking was allowed. The ban, according to the pro-smoking lobby group Forest, has helped to force their closure. A case of closing time, but on a permanent basis. Other campaigners question the ban's effectiveness and resent the level of state intrusion.
We've gone wildly too far in enacting bans and regulations on how people can, conduct their private lives. Smoking ban is kind of, I think, the beginning of what is starting to become a real snowball effect in state intervention into private life.
Whichever way you look at it, it seems smokers are still a dying breed, only these days it has less to do with ill health and more to do with choice. Phil Edwards, Sky News.
Well, there you have it. 10 years since the smoking ban, also 10 years since the iPhone came onto the scene. We can find out more about that in our technology show, Swipe Now.
Smoking ban is kind of, I think, the beginning.
Bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Curry's PC World and Philips Hue.
A decade since we first got our fingers on the iPhone, has Apple fallen behind in the innovation race? And Lucy looks at the return of a legend in our games review.
Welcome to Swipe. Now, a lot's changed in 10 years. It's hard to believe that back then, smartphones and apps as we know them didn't even exist. Yet now, they're everywhere, and competition for your palm among the tech giants is fiercer than ever. So a decade on, I'm looking back at the game-changing release of the original iPhone. But first, Thomas has been to see a cutting-edge British invention that could revolutionise the field of nanotech research.
The most powerful optical microscope in the world. Called Nanopsis, this British-made invention has managed to increase magnification power 400% beyond what was previously thought possible. For the first time, scientists will be able to study things as small as viruses under visible light, in real time and in full colour.
The reason this device works is because of the use of microspheres. Can you tell me what is a microsphere?
Microsphere here means very small, transparent, spherical lenses. These type of small lenses are not new to us. In nature, you can see flies, mosquitoes, or other insects. Their eyeballs are very, very small microspheres. They can see the world differently from what we will see. But this is the first time we use this type of microsphere lenses as a part of microscopes.
The applications are far-reaching: research into cancer medicine, the discovery of new drugs, or work on microchip technology.
This technology has the potential to be a game changer in R&D, essentially combating all of the key problems that are faced in terms of imaging in R&D facilities, where you're looking at accessibility issues on very high-end equipment and getting access to super resolution capabilities, or whether it's cost and then also ease of use.
Scientists and academics often find themselves at the back of long queues waiting to use powerful and complicated electron microscopes. This bit of kit aims to remove those barriers and at a fraction of the cost.
Okay, Thomas, what do you think this is?
Well, I'm looking at it and it looks almost like veins, but I'm pretty sure veins would be too big on a nano scale. So I'll say something like another microchip processor.
It's in fact a butterfly wing.
A butterfly wing?
Yes.
Indeed, some of the earliest things to be stuck under microscopes were animal specimens, like these butterflies here at the Natural History Museum. Fast forward to today, and microscopy and nanotechnology are crucial for scientific research. And the UK has fast become a hub for such innovations.
In the UK, we lead nanotechnology research in many areas. We have some of the best scientists in the world and some of the best universities, and the government has historically funded us very well.
It's estimated that the sector that Nanopsis inhabits will be worth £5 billion by 2020. Having a firm grip on this market is a key goal for British innovators. Thomas Newton, Sky News.
Time for a closer look at what else has been going on in the world of tech this week. Here's all you need to know.
A global cyber attack spread from Ukraine to more than 60 countries. Cybersecurity experts now say it aimed to destroy data and not to make money. Companies around the world were hit, ranging from British advertising giant WPP to FedEx's TNT Express service to a chocolate factory in Australia. While it was originally described as ransomware, experts now say the virus made it impossible to recover data, even if a fee was paid. Google has been fined more than £2 billion for abusing its dominance as a search engine to promote its own service. EU regulators say the search giant breached antitrust rules by listing its own shopping comparison service at the top of search results. Google disagreed and may now appeal the decision. Facebook has hit 2 billion users every month, around a quarter of the world's population. Mark Zuckerberg said the social network could fill the gap left by falling church membership and offer people a sense of community. But while the user base has been growing, so too has pressure on the social network to crack down on fake news and extremist content. And how's your internet connection? Well, this week we found out as the best and worst broadband speeds across the UK were revealed. Tamworth in the West Midlands was the fastest area, while rural areas in Scotland came bottom of the table. Overall, the consumer group Which said far too many of us were still struggling with slow broadband.
It's hard to imagine a world without, well, the world in the palm of your hand. But just 10 years ago, that's what it was like. If you wanted to know where you were